Good morning, everyone. In the previous session of Human Resource Management, I was explaining about the process of human resource planning and what are the various steps involved in the process or preparation of human resource planning. So in the last session, I explained the various points like analyzing the organizational plan, which is the first step in the process of HRP. Now here in this step, the organizational plan, the plan which is created for the entire organization, which includes objectives, strategies and everything, it needs to be properly analyzed before making any kind of preparation for HRP. An organization need to understand, the management need to understand why they are appointing these number of people for the purpose of achievement of organizational goals and objectives. So whatever HRP they are preparing, it needs to be in accordance with the organizational plan. So for that reason, the first step in the process of HRP is analyzing the organizational plan. Then I explained the second point, that is forecasting the overall human resource requirement. Means what is the total number of people required by the organization. Now these are the various methods through which an organization can forecast what is the total requirement of human resource in terms of quality and also in terms of quality. So these are the various methods, and any method can be used by any organization depending upon the situation, depending upon the organizational plan, and also depending upon what kind of plan they are creating, like whether it is a plan for expansion or diversification or anything. So any of these methods can be applied by the management. Now the next point which I explained is supply forecasting. So the previous point is about forecasting the demand of human resource, how many number of people are going to be required by an organization, so that they can be used for the benefit of the company, as well as the human resource can also receive some kind of benefits. But now here in this step, we need to find out what are the various or we need to forecast the supply of human resource, which means we need to find out the various sources through which we can actually get human resource according to the requirement of the organization. So these are the various methods, or these are the elements which needs to be considered while supply forecasting, or while forecasting the supply of human resource, that is existing inventory, age composition in the human resource, how many senior people are there, how many freshers are there. So these things. Then potential losses, how many people left the organization, how many people are supposed to leave the organization, in case of retirement or voluntary retirement. Potential additions, how many new employees will be joining the organization, and then what are the various sources of supply, whether we are going to have or use only internal source, or we can also use external source of recruitment. So these are the various elements which needs to be considered so that the supply of human resource can be properly forecasted. Now we are going to discuss another point which I have already discussed, that is estimating the net human resource requirement. Means, first of all, what is the total number of people required by the organization, and what supply that we have. We have to balance that. So that is the fourth point of HRP process. Now I am going to explain the fifth point of human resource planning, the process of human resource planning, that is action plan for redeployment, redundancy or retrenchment. So first of all, what is redeployment? Redeployment simply means, or let me explain the first of all the point in brief. Now in an organization, when if we have surplus number of employees, that is more number of employees according to our requirement in a particular department. For example, in a particular department like production or marketing, the number of people appointed in the organization is more in comparison to the actual workload. So we can actually shift some of the employees where the number of employees are excessive, that we can shift the excessive number of employees to those departments, to those sections where there is actual what insufficient number of people. So we are going to move the excessive number of employees from one area to another area where there is actually shortage of employees. So we have to create an action plan which will actually balance the requirement of human resource in the entire organization. Moving employees where excessive number of employees are appointed to those areas where the number of people are actually less, but actually they need more number of people. So in that case, this redeployment needs to take place. Okay, so that is the fifth point of the process of HRP. Now in this point, as I have mentioned, if we have surplus number of people in one department, we are going to move those people, the excessive number of people, to those areas where we have deficit or shortage of employees. But what if the organization does not have any section or any department where there is shortage of employees? What we are supposed to do in that situation? If we have shortage of employees, then we can shift the excessive number of employees to those areas. But what if the organization do not have any department, any section, any unit which has shortage of employees, which has deficit of employees? So in that case, the organization will take step for redundancy or retrenchment. That is terminating the employees from the organization. That is called retrenchment, firing the employees from the organization, firing them from the job. So that is the only way left for the organization if they have excessive number of people working in the organization. Because what happens usually, if according to the workload, if more and more number of people are appointed in the organization and the company does not have that much amount of work, and those people are simply they don't have anything to do, they're simply very idle in the organization, they don't have any work to do. So in that case, the cost increases because the company needs to pay them salary. So in order to save that amount of money, the organization will retrench a group of people or a large number of people, those who are not required in the organization. Okay, so we are going to discuss what are the various plans for redeployment, that is movement of employees, that is from movement of employees, mobility of employees from a place where there is excess number of employees to those area where there is deficit of employees. That is called redeployment, movement of employees. Redundancy, retrenchment means actually terminating the employees or asking the employees to leave the organization, firing of employees. So we are going to discuss various action plans for redeployment and retrenchment. So the first program is redeployment program. Movement of employees from area where there is excessive number of employees to those areas where there is shortage or deficit of employees. So the first method which comes under redeployment program is outplacement. Outplacement means there are certain number of employees which are placed in the organization, but in that area, in that particular department, they actually don't have anything to do. But those employees can be effectively utilized in other departments, in other areas. So these outplaced employees will be given proper career counseling and guidance and will be placed in another department where they actually need those kind of employees. So that is outplacement. The second one is employment in sister concern. Now if we have excessive number of employees and we do not want to fire these many number of people, it will also have a negative effect on the image of the organization. So what they can do, they can shift those people to their sister concerns. Sister concerns means the organization, a group of organization having different kinds of business, different kinds of organization. So they come under one company. So they can transfer these employees to their sister concerns or to any other organization which are related to the parent company. So they can simply transfer them, shift them, their employees will have their job and the organization will get rid of excessive number of employees. They will simply shift or transfer the excessive number of employees to to their sister concerns where there is deficit or where there is a deficit in employees or we can say where there is shortage of employees. So they can transfer those employees to their sister concerns. Now the third one is employment in other companies. Now usually what happens, if the organization does not have any sister concern, or all the related organizations, they do not have any vacancies, they do not have shortage of employees, so what are we going to do with the excessive number of employees? And now if there are many organizations who are very much concerned about their employees, so what they do, they make contact with other similar kind of organization with whom they have good relation or something. They call them, they inform them about these employees, and they try to place their employees in other organization, so that the employee will not lose the job, and in the same way, in this manner also, the organization will have a good and better reputation. So the HR manager will make contact with other organization, ask them whether they have any kind of vacancy, and recommend these employees to other organizations. So if they have vacancies, if they want to appoint these people, they can appoint them, and now the employees will also get a job. They won't remain unemployed, so they will leave this organization and join another organization. So this is one method of redeployment. So under redeployment program, these methods are used. Now the second so the first point that I mentioned is redeployment means when there is excessive number of employees and we have places in other departments where we can shift this excessive number of employees, or we can give them employment in our sister concerns, or we can actually contact other organization so that these existing employees can get job in other organization. But what if we do not have that kind of opportunity? We do not have any excess or any shortage of employees in our organization. We cannot shift our excessive number of employees to any area where there is a shortage of employees, where we do not have sister concern, where other organization also don't want to take those employees. So ultimately the organization will have to take decision regarding retrenchment of the employees, retrenchment or redundancy, that is, like I said, termination of employees. So what are the various programs which come under the termination or redundancy program? The first one is again outplacement. Here what happens, in the previous point, like I said, the employees which do not contribute to the particular department in which they work, but their requirement may be there in the other department, so they will be shifted to other areas. But here what happens, we do not have sufficient place in the organization, sufficient vacancies in the organization. So what we are going to do, we are going to give them a counseling kind of thing. We are going to plan their career, we are going to give them career guidance, and then we will ask them to leave the organization or go for retrenchment. We are going to properly guide those employees how they need to move forward in their career, and then they will be retrenched from the job. So that is one method under retrenchment program. The second one is layoff. Now layoff means, it simply means firing a large number of people at once. That is called layoff. So this layoff can be temporary and can be permanent also. Now temporary layoff means, for example, if the machinery is not working properly, breakage of machinery, or we can say that there is no supply of electricity, a power supply is not present in the factory for some kind of problem. So there is the production is going to stop for certain time period. So we are going to ask our employees to stay at home or not to come to the organization for a temporary time period, for a short time period, until and unless the problem is fixed. So whatever problem is there, it is on a temporary basis, like power shortage, power failure, or breakage of any machinery. It is for a very short time period. So till that time, these employees will not come to the organization. These workers or employees will not come to the organization. They will be at home, or that is other thing. So they won't come to the organization for a short time period. And when this problem is fixed, when there is power supply, or when there is when they have repaired the machinery, then the employees, the workers will again join the job. So that is called temporary layoff. Now what is permanent layoff? Permanent layoff usually takes place during the liquidation of the organization, when the company actually shuts down, it is permanently closed, then the large number of people will lose their job on a permanent basis. So that is permanent layoff. So in this program, if the organization have excessive number of employees due to certain problems which are meant for to remain for a very short time period, they can ask their employees to leave the job for a certain time period. They can lay off the employees for a limited time period and they can call back. But what if they do not even have the jobs anymore, maybe because of any other reason? So what they are going to do, they are going to fire a large number of people because of shortage of job, or because if there is, if sorry, because of shortage of the job, because of lack of vacancies, or because excessive number of employees are working in the organization. So that's why layoff take place. Now next point is leave of absence without pay. Now in this point, in this program, what they do, they ask the employees to stay at home, not to come to the organization. That is in terms of leave of absence, means they are not fired from the organization, they are still working in the organization, they are still workers or employees of the organization, but simply they are going to stay at home. They won't be coming to the organization or to the factory, and they will be at home without any pay. For example, the organization wants their employees to stay at home because of the slackness of the time business, because there are many seasonal business which happen during some months of the year, and other months there is not even production of those products. So during that time they can ask the employees to be at home, not to come to the organization, but they will be still remain the employees of the organization, and after the time period has gone, they will again join the organization. So it is a long leave of absence without any kind of pay. So they will not get any money for that absence, for leave of absence, but they will still have the job. So whenever the organization will work in a normal manner, or will have extra excessive work, they will again call back these employees and workers. Okay. Now let us discuss the last point, that is voluntary retirement or compulsory retirement. Now retirement usually comes at a particular age, that is 60 or 62. So when people reach that age, they have to retire from the organization. That is the compulsory retirement. Voluntary retirement means the employee who does not want to work for many years, or does not want to wait for the retirement age because of some personal issues or any other, they can have any reason, so that they can retire before their actual retirement. For example, a person is around 57 and wants to take retirement at that age, but 57 is not the age of retirement, 62 is the age of retirement. So this person is going to take voluntary retirement, means taking retirement before the actual retirement age. So that can happen, or the organization can actually ask the employees to take voluntary retirement. Like instead of firing new employees, they can ask their senior employees who have already worked for many years in the organization. They are in a particular position, they have good amount of salary, so they can ask them to retire before time. So these are the various methods which come under retrenchment program or redundancy program. That is when there is excessive number of people and these people cannot be adjusted anywhere within or outside the organization, then the organization will have to take these steps. Okay. Now what is the next point that we have here? Forecast future supply from all the sources. Now basically there are two sources through which organization appoint people. That is internal source and external source. In the recruitment section that we are going to discuss after completion of HRP, that is the next topic, recruitment, I will explain clearly what are the various internal sources and what are the various external sources. Just now I am going to explain it in a brief manner. That is, internal source means the employees who are already working within the organization, the existing employees. For example, if we have a vacancy in a higher position or in any other department, why to appoint someone from outside? Why to conduct interview, selection, and all those things? We already know our employees, how they are working, what is their potential, how well they are performing, what are their weaknesses, what are their strengths. We can simply promote or transfer one person from one job to another job. That is the use of internal source, giving appointment or promoting the existing employees who are already working within the organization. So we have to forecast the future supply of all the resources, means whether our internal workforce is capable enough to manage the excessive number of jobs, or do we have excessive number of employees who will be easily adjusted for future increase in number of jobs, or we have to find out these employees, or we have to fill up these vacancies from the external source. External source may be like campus recruitment, appointing people from colleges, or going just asking employees to join a walk-in interview. So there are, or having a discussion with any consultancy firm who will give them that many number of employees. So these are the various sources through which an organization can appoint people. So that is, we have to forecast in advance whether we have sufficient number of people who are also capable of managing the jobs. So we will go for internal source of recruitment. And if we do not have sufficient number of people, if the existing employees are not, or they do not have the capabilities and potentials, then we will go for the external sources. So in advance, we have to decide which of these sources will be suitable for the organization. Okay. Now, what is the next point here? Action plan for outsourcing, recruitment, development, and etc. Now, for example, our existing employees are not even, not we can say not capable, or they need certain kind of training and development so that they will be suitable for any other job. So what are the various steps we need to take in that kind of situation? And what if our existing employees are not sufficient? Anyhow, we have to appoint people outside, from outside the organization. So the first point here says that outsourcing plan. Outsourcing, this word seems to be very common or used on a regular basis. Outsourcing means appointing people. There are many, for example, I'll explain this with an example. So in outsourcing, usually what happens, for example, there are many professional organizations which hire people from different categories for different jobs and provide them to those organizations who actually require employees. So they keep a record of such employees who belong to different departments, who have different specialization. They hire them and supply them to those organizations who actually require them. Now here it says that these what I'm going to explain here is that they can also give these employees on a lease basis for a certain time period, 5 years, 4 years, 6 years. So that is the understanding or agreement between those professional organization and between the other organization who actually wants to appoint people through outsourcing plan. So that is one method of going for external source of recruitment. Then comes promotion plan. That is the internal one. Means, for example, if the people who are already working in the organization, they are efficient, they are talented, they are capable, and they will be suitable for the jobs, for the future jobs. So it is better to promote these employees to those jobs. So how to create a promotion plan? Now, for example, an organization who is only focusing on appointing people from outside the organization, it will lead to various kinds of problems. The existing employees will be demotivated. They won't be satisfied with the organization. It will lead to various problems. So they have to create a ratio. That ratio means how many number of people are appointed on higher position who are not existing employees, and how many number of existing employees are promoted to the higher position job. They have to balance this ratio. So if they are appointing 3 candidates from outside, they have to again appoint 4 or 5 candidates from within the organization, so that the company's employees will be satisfied, They will think that the company is going to provide them proper opportunity for growth and development. So the organization will create a promotion plan, provide promotion to those employees who are talented, efficient, and who are eligible to manage higher position job. So there is another method of recruitment, that is by using internal source of recruitment. Next one is training and development plans. Now, like I said, what if our employees are not talented, or they're talented but they are not eligible for that particular kind of job? They need certain kind of training. They need certain kind of knowledge to be able to handle that kind of job. So for that reason, the organization will first of all actually understand the present capability and potentials of the existing employees, and then create various training and development programs to polish the potentials and capabilities of the existing employees, make them eligible for future higher position. So that is training and development. Whatever, how many number of people we have in our organization, let us focus on them, let us provide them training and development, and we are going to make them more and more capable and efficient for future job. So that is also one way of recruitment. First of all, understand what is the existing capabilities of the employees, and then try to develop them and then give them promotion. That is one of the method. Last one is productivity plan. So this is the last point of recruitment or development, action plan for recruitment and development. This simply means that they are supposed to increase the productivity of the entire organization by minimizing the labor cost. And how they are supposed to do that? By making improvements in the technologies, making improvements in the machineries and equipments which they use, which will save a lot of time and energy of the candidates, sorry, energy of the employees. So this is one of the method. Instead of giving them promotion or appointing people from outside the organization, let us focus on simply increasing our production by creating our organization more and more efficient, by developing our equipments, by introducing advanced technology. So this is another method used for this action plan. So after forecasting the supply from various sources, they have to take an action plan regarding recruitment and what are the various sources they are going to follow. And these are the various methods which are used to recruit employees. Okay. Now let us discuss another point, that is modify the organizational plan. Now usually what happens, the organizational plan that we discussed, which is the first point, analysis of organization plan. Before beginning HRP process, we have to analyze the organizational plan. Now usually what happens, whatever organization plan we have, and we make our HRP plan in accordance with the organizational plan. And if the situation is also what favorable, then it is we can create a good plan basing it on the organizational plan. But what if the situation is not favorable? What if the demand of human resource is high, but we do not have sufficient number of resources, we do not have various areas through which we can appoint people? So in that scenario, we have to make adjustment in organizational plan, keeping in mind the forecast, demand forecasting of human resource and supply forecasting of human resource. So if the situation is not favorable, the candidates, the employees may not be available in future, or increase in competition, or any kind of changes in external environment. So because of these factors which is beyond the control of the organization, what they can do, they need to make certain adjustments, or they need to modify the organizational plan according to the scenario which we are going to face in future. That is, in future may not be sufficient, in future there may be lack of supply of human resource. In future, maybe all the other organization may have increased the demand of human resource. So keeping all that in mind, they will modify the organizational plan. And the next one is retention plan. Now, In the previous point, like I said, when we have excessive number of employees, either we have to transfer them to those areas where we have shortage of employees, and if we do not have those areas where there is shortage of employees, we can actually retrench them. But retention plan here says that in most of the organization, if employees, if talented, efficient, eligible employees do not get proper opportunity, do not get proper advantage or benefit they want to have in their career, if they do not get the opportunity to become successful in the career, what they do, they leave their present organization, the current organization in which they are working, and they join other organization which provides them better opportunity to become more and more successful. So retention plan here focuses on those employees who are very talented, who are very efficient, who play a very important role in the organization. So they try to retain those employees. And how they're supposed to retain those employees? By providing them various opportunities for improvement, different opportunities for training, improve themselves, like development programs, training programs, counseling, grievance redressal, opportunities for promotion, going ahead in the career. So these types of various facility needs to be provided to the existing employees whom the organization want to retain. So that is the retention plan. Now let us discuss the last point of HRP process, that is control and review mechanism. This is the last point of HRP process, as I said. Now this may be the last point, but this is one of the most important point in the process, because this will provide opportunity to the management, to the organization to plan for the human resource in a better way when they are planning it when they are making another plan. So control and review mechanism is after deciding what are the various sources, what demand we are going to have in future regarding human resource, what are the various sources of supply. After taking decision on all these aspects, we are going to review the entire human resource system. Do we actually have what we actually wanted? Means are we whether we are actually able to fulfill the requirements of human resource? What were the resources, what were the sources of through which we appointed human resource? So these are the things which needs to be reviewed. Now why this review is necessary? So that next time when HRP is going to be created, we can actually control various elements which were not under control in the previous plan. So that is the last point, that is control and review mechanism. Analyze the entire plan, review the entire human resource system, understand what are the things that could have been done in a better way, and then make necessary changes in the future human resource plan. And so these things which for example in a first plan that they have created, if some mistakes they have made, they are not going to repeat these mistakes in the next plan, only if there is control and review mechanism. So this is the last point of process of HR. So like I said that this is the last topic under human resource planning. So I have explained the need of human resource, the objectives of human resource, and the process of human resource planning. Sorry, needs and objectives of human resource planning. So this is the last topic of HRP. So I think you all have understood what is HRP, how it functions, what are the various steps and other things. So in the next class, I am going to discuss a new topic, that is recruitment. I am going to explain what is recruitment, what are the various sources of recruitment, and how the recruitment, the decision regarding the sources of recruitment, how this decision is influenced by various other elements. So this is it for today's session. In the next session, I am going to explain about recruitment and various aspects of recruitment. So thank you.